Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show where after the collision, we sift through
the wreckage.
The Wreckage. I am your host, Jimmy T. He is my co-host and the best in the world, Jamie the Vet Williams. And we are live on Humming Media Group's YouTube channel and, of course, on the Twitch and channelattitude.com. Vet, welcome back to the Wreckage. It is a Monday morning edition of the Wreckage, but that's all right, man. It's better late than never.
That's true. Well, if you want to hear why it's on Monday morning, it could be story time with the fucking vet, baby.
That's so, up to you if you want to tell them.
Yeah, we might as well. It's not so bad. You know, they might as well know because I think there's a lesson in all of this, really. And
really?
I can even tie it into pro wrestling in a way.
Interesting.
So let's roll it back. Let's roll it back. So it's July 5th. It is approximately 9 p.m. in the evening, Pacific time. I am trying to sleep. I hear a loud banging on the door.
Okay.
I hear people yelling outside. People are yelling, "Fire, fire, fire." I run to the front door. There's some strange kids on the lawn I've never seen. They're saying, "There's a fire next door. There's a fire. Get the hose, something." They're not home. Fire, fire, fire. Now, when they're first saying fire, I'm thinking, it's my house that's on fire.
For sure. Definitely.
Well, anyway, so I run to get the hose in the backyard. Now, it's dark. I just was sleeping. I grab the hose. I pull the hose. The hose is not coming along because it's like tangled up somehow. So I take the hose and I yank the hose. Then all of a sudden I hear something crack and then I hear a bunch of water running.
Oh, shit.
So apparently the hose had been wrapped around the sprinkler pipes somehow. And I snapped this cheap plastic sprinkler pipe like a twig when I pulled the hose to try to see if I could, extend it enough to reach the neighbor's yard across the way.
Damn.
Now, even if I wanted to help put out the fire, I can't. Okay, there's smoke in the air and everything. So, anyways, I shut off the water, the main water valve to the house now. Okay. Right. Luckily, the fire department comes within a minute, maybe 2 minutes from then.
Good. So
they arrived quickly. They took care of the situation. Nobody was hurt. I don't think there was any damage to the home itself, just the yard or whatever. But you know why this happened, Jimmy? Now, even though it's July 5th, that doesn't mean the 4th of July party's fucking over. Oh, no. We got to have people fucking around with fireworks the day after we're supposed to be all done with this. Let me explain something to everybody out there, just in case you're one of these people, even if you're one of the loyal HMG listeners. July 4th is July 4th. Independence Day is July motherfucking 4th. It's not May 4th, and then you blow off M80s all month until the holiday comes. And it sure as shit ain't July 5th when you're about to burn my fucking neighbor's house down because you're a fucking idiot. Okay? So that's number one. Now, how do I turn this into a lesson about wrestling? I made a mistake. I was rushing. I was not paying attention. If I had paid attention and slowly, now I wouldn't have been able to help anyway, but if I had slowly taken care of the hose and unraveled it, then everything would be fine. But I didn't because I rushed things and it turned into a disaster. Now, the reason that there was no wreckage yesterday is because when I called to make the appointment for the plumber to come out and fix it, now what do you think the ETA on the plumber was? Could it have possibly been exactly 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on a Sunday, right when the wreckage is supposed to go live? Of course it was.
Wow.
So that's why. But the point is, and the lesson is, Don't panic, remain calm, and take your time. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Whether you're trying to save your neighbor or whether you're in a wrestling ring, okay? And I'm sure we're going to talk about a lot of people that were not slowing down and being careful.
Well, yeah, it's an understatement.
But that's what happened to me, and that's why this Wreckage is on a Monday, Jimmy.
See, I didn't know that. You didn't tell me the circumstances. I just thought it was just some sort of plumbing issue. But now after hearing all that, we have the same friggin' issue here, man. And not obviously on the 4th of July, but every time it's New Year's Eve or for our July 4th, which is March 25th, Australia Day, it's called here, you know, everyone basically gets fireworks and starts friggin' going crazy. But you start hearing this shit for at least another week or two after the fact. And even now, I still sometimes hear fireworks going off. And yeah, stop doing that shit. I agree 100%, man. And I do hear like even the fire engines going off in the streets. And it's probably because of that. And you know what you saying about how if you actually thought, and you were chill and calm, that's not fair on you, Vet, because at the end of the day, you thought there was a fire. You don't have time to sit there and think and go, slowly to like do things. You're trying to help people, man. So I wouldn't put that on yourself, bro. You did the right thing.
Maybe I did. Maybe I did do the right thing, but the right thing ended up being the wrong thing. And had the fire department not come there, then I wouldn't have been able to help them because I destroyed my water pressure, the hose couldn't have shot any water out anyway. I might as well have just took a glass of water next door and tried to dump it over. So
I don't want to laugh at that, but fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Leave shit to the professionals, So, I mean, you live and you learn. It's my mistake, even if I was trying to do the right thing. I don't feel bad about it. I'm just telling you what happened. I mean, It is a fact that it was my fault. So, it's fine with that. I don't have to deny responsibility. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. So, but the point is, like, in those situations, if you're rushing and panicking, you're not doing anybody any good. So you have to do your best to just slow it down and think.
100% agree, man.
Yeah. Now, as for J12 said he saw a rapper named 4Extra blow his hands off. Good.
I think I've seen that.
Good.
I've seen
no
that.
sympathy.
Savage.
No sympathy.
And you know what's even funny? I don't know about how it is in the US, but most of these fireworks that everyone uses here, they're all illegal, dude. They're all legally bought. Yeah. So everyone's breaking laws already. Just, not that the cops can even really do anything about it. You know what I mean? To be honest, they have to fuck up all the distributors. And usually, I don't know here, but it's all the Asians that sell them here. Like under the table sort of thing. Even at your local store, the local family owned stores. A lot of Asians own them here. And yeah, usually they sell them under the table for pretty cheap. And that's how they get around. I'm sure it's probably similar for you guys too. But anyway, it is what it is. But nevertheless, all that matters is that you're okay. Everything is all fixed. And we are here for the Wreckage. And we're here to talk AEW. And of course, some pro wrestling news all the way around. So, Vet, I'm going to ask you about this because it's a pretty big deal, I guess.
Okay.
But Tiger Mask 4, that is, has announced he will retire from wrestling in July 2026. The end of another era. Does that mean we're going to get a Tiger Mask 5 next?
Probably.
More than likely, true.
Yeah, we've had a Tiger Mask for almost 50 years, so it would be wrong to take it away now.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. But see, I feel differently. I think there should never be another Jushin Thunder Liger butt, for example. I just think no one else could just pull it off.
That's different.
Right, for sure. But it's an end of another era, but I'm sure we will see the 5th. J12 says, I know Jimmy T's bumping that new Jacob Fatu song. Actually, that's a good...
We know that clearly he wants us to talk about this story.
I will. You know what? Thanks to J12 for bringing it up because I've been reading all sorts of shit about this. I want to ask you this. I know we're the wrong people to be talking about this, but...
No, it's okay, Jimmy. I can talk about it.
Well, you are from California, though, so there's a different type of... I don't want to say culture, but there is.
All my passes are in my wallet, just so you know.
Oh, beautiful. Well, is it right for Polynesian, people to drop the N-word? Now, all the Polynesian people that I know, they all drop the N-word, bro, without shame. What I get confused about, it's okay for Mexicans, say, or any Latinos to do it.
No, it isn't.
Well, according to others, yeah, but you know what? There probably would be a few other people that wouldn't agree. But generally, from what I see, usually they get a pass. But I don't know. Look, I'm not in California. You tell me, Vet, what is going on? Is it right for him to be doing that? Or do you think he needs to think a little bit before he talks?
So, look, when you break it down, everybody has their own personal choices to make.
Right.
So they just have to deal with the consequences of their choices. It doesn't just have to be about this one issue. I mean, this is a divisive issue among everybody.
Absolutely.
It's
100%.
a divisive issue amongst white and black people. It's a divisive issue amongst black people. It's a divisive issue amongst, obviously, as we talk about, like we've seen, just anybody will co-opt things. And, from the one perspective is every word in every language is just something made up. It's just a sound we made up, right? But it's always the meaning behind it, right? So it's also up to each individual to interpret the meaning behind it. If I don't think a word is offensive, if I just say, schnabitz or whatever. Now, if that's offensive to somebody or whatever, then it doesn't matter if I don't mean it to be offensive. If I offend somebody with it, I don't want to do that. So it's not that important to me to keep saying it if I'm offending people. I don't need to say it, right? That's just me personally. But
respect thing, man.
But it's up to each individual how they feel about it. Some people have complicated feelings about it. Some people have very definite feelings about it. So it's up to everybody else to have these discussions, right? Like you said, basically at the start, like you're saying we're not the people to have it, but it's not just because we're white. It's because we're not the people to have it, because for us, we grew up hearing that in music and with our friends and whatever. And
Facts.
Some of my friends, look, all of my friends would probably be fine if I said it. I don't say it, even though they don't care. But I just choose not to say it. It's fine. Like, I don't need to say it. But
I'm the same as you, bro. I don't use it even though they call me that, but yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. So now when it comes to the Polynesian thing, or the Latin thing, or anybody else that co-opts the word, Asians do it, whatever. It's just everybody, anybody will do it. White people do it. When the white kids are and nobody else is around and it's just the white kids, they say it to each other. So come on, you ever been on Xbox? That's one kind. But then there's the kind where it's like the non-racist white kids that just want to be cool, so they say it to each other, right? And because they want to sound like the rappers that they listen to.
It's true, man.
Right? So everybody says this thing, but here's the problem. If you feel entitled to say it, that's kind of a problem, I think. I think that's where the problem really comes in. If you feel like you're just entitled to say it and nobody else has a say in it, that kind of causes a little bit of an issue there. But in real life, it's kind of up to everybody else to feel how they feel. Plenty of people are going to be cool with it. Plenty of people are not going to be cool with it. Everybody's got their own feelings on it, and none of them are wrong. None of the feelings are wrong.
See, what I think is getting put out of context here a little bit is the fact, I bet you, because he's a Cali guy, right? I'm sure he's got a lot of black friends, right? It's no secret that even Rikishi was part of a blood gang actually growing up in Cali. So, and he got shot in a drive-by. That's a true story. That's why he's got the scar along his stomach, if anyone doesn't know that. And so are you telling me, I bet any money, like you said about your friends, they'd probably be cool with it if you said it, but you don't, because you don't want to say it. Like, I'm the same. My friends call me that, and that are black or Polynesian, funny enough, but I never say it back. The point is, where he's from, I'm sure it's cool. Everyone outside of mostly California is making a huge deal out of it, and I think people could need to chill, because it's very in the middle. Some black people think it's cool, others don't. So you know, it's a political thing.
Yeah, the other issue the other issue that makes it a little bit different is because we could talk about just our own social issues or whatever, but this is like, you know, this is a publicly released piece of art.
Yeah.
So as an artist, yes, you have the right to express yourself, but just be ready for any kind of backlash that comes this way, because there's always backlash on any art, even if it's not offensive per se, you know? Like if people just don't like it, they're going to let you know they don't like it. Absolutely. That's just part of being an artist of any kind. So, you know, it's people could say, I don't like Jacob Fatu's wrestling matches, right? Like that's a criticism, right. But you know, whatever. So, yeah, you're definitely opening yourself up to if you do that. It's one thing to do it behind closed doors, among friends, whatever. If you put yourself out in public, well, better get ready.
Right. Exactly. No, you're right. You hear that, Jacob? And it's not the first time. I've seen other videos where he's using the N-word as well, not in the song, and he got a bit of, backlash from that, but it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a huge thing all over the news and whatnot. And also, you're right, J12, the song was ass. It sucked. Did you hear it at all, Vet?
No. Are you kidding me?
It sucks. Rikishi also features in it, funny enough.
Oh, that's how you know it sucks.
It sucks, man. It's just, it doesn't have a California sound to me. It's not like G-Funky or anything like that. It's just, it feels Polynesian. Nothing against that. But it just doesn't feel, I want that Cali vibe, man. If you're gonna do that, give me some of that fucking Cali vibe, man. That's my thing. But anyway, that's just me. But let's move on from that, shall we? Because we got that out of the way. Now, as far as other news, you know, what's going on lately, Vet? Everything seems very quiet. There's not much really going on. And I'm sure you don't care if I told you Kamala Hayes and Kalani Jordan announced that they got engaged.
The two most boring cheese sandwiches in wrestling hooked it up. They made a double-decker cheese sandwich.
Well, actually, there is a bit of news now. Apparently, Chavo Guerrero Jr. reportedly says he's back working with WWE. I didn't know that, but that's him saying that. I don't know how true that is, but if so, I guess good for him, right? Anything to say about Chavo?
Hey, all right.
I don't know. There's not much to say about that. Oh, and what about Tiffy? Did you see the big deal, speaking of N-words and all that? And yeah, you know what? I think she knew what she was doing just quietly. When I've looked back on it a few times, the way she was talking, I felt like she knew what she was saying, dude. And our very own friend, for example, shout out to A-Track Brown, he posted an interesting little video online not too long ago. And it shows her basically she's slapping hands with everybody, but it seems like she was avoiding black people, which was interesting because I'm like, oh, that looks bad too. Is she a racist, Vet? Is something going on here? What's going on, man?
Well, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, I said that I already talked about this, on the Next Level Wrestling review, but I'll summarize what I said there. This is 2 times.
Right, 2 times.
If this is 3 strikes, then now we got a problem.
It's number 3. So we're at number 3, and I remember you saying that because I was tuning in.
One more time. One more again, Tiffy.
Oh boy. And Frank, I'm not bashing white people for crying out loud. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, don't worry about Frank. He loves white people.
I'm just saying, well, yeah. But 3, that's 3, man. And now I wonder if WWE. Now, look, I'm sure it's only A-Track Brown that I've seen post that. I haven't seen it posted anywhere else.
No. I'm not counting that as a strike.
Okay,
the first strike was the black bitch or whatever she said
I remember that. Right.
Was it Jade or Bianca, whichever?
No, it was Jade.
Yeah. This one is the second one that we know of.
Right.
She might already be on 10 strikes for all we know, but I'm just saying, like 3 public strikes and you're out, kid.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. She knows what she's doing. I'm starting to lean towards and sorry to anyone that thinks I'm wrong, but fucking prove me otherwise. I'm just reporting what I'm seeing, man. It doesn't look good for her. Whether WWE punish her now, I don't know. We'll see. But She needs to shut the fuck up, straight up, even while wrestling. Anyway, that's just me. And that's that with that.
Yeah, we're missing the Tiffy and Tessa crossover, like J12 said.
Oh,
you know, that's where we can make it happen. We got a working relationship.
Jesus Christ, imagine that. That would be, oof. Oh, that's all I'm saying. Let's see if there's any other news worth talking about. Oh, AJ Styles has signed a new contract extension and says that it will be the end of his career after this contract runs out at the end of 2026. Good on him, man. I mean, it's been one heck of a career, and we've got one more year left, I guess, or more than that, a year and a half of AJ Styles. I think we should make the most of it, man.
And what would making the most of it mean to you?
Just appreciate every time he's on television wrestling, man, because it's an end of an era once he does retire, man. I've been a fan of his forever, dude, like going way back to the TNA days, Ring of Honor days, New Japan days, and onto WWE. He's one heck of a wrestler, man, and one heck of a guy, more importantly.
Yeah. Well, you know, also AJ is one of those guys that, you know, worked a particular style, but he never really slowed down the style. Like he maintained the style, and he's damn near 50. So he did a good job of, you know, proving the people wrong that said he would be in a wheelchair by 30 or whatever, you know, people usually say.
No, you're right. Liz says, I'd kind of like to see him in TNA for something before he retires. I agree, but you know what? I heard him say in interviews, Liz, that he doesn't seem to want to do anything in TNA. And on top of that, even if he did do something in TNA, he also doesn't want his old theme song to be played when he comes out, which is an odd thing to say.
Okay.
Yeah, in an interview, he said this a while back, which I thought that's weird, but it is what it is. But look, J12, I mean, everyone's hitting their... If you look at their roster, the top end, they're all practically in their 40s, man. You know what I mean? So how much time do they really have? Even Kenny Omega actually said this week, Vet, that he's winding down his in-ring career, and he's just letting everyone know that he's not going to be doing, you know, wrestling matches too much longer, he claims, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, he's been through hell at this point. But it's an end of an era for him too. If he, I just feel like him not going to WWE, man, I hope he doesn't regret it in the future. That's all. I would have loved to seen one run of his in WWE, but that's just me.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It is what it is. Let's see if there's anything else to. Oh, apparently, Isla Dawn is signed with AEW. I really don't care about it. I don't know what she's going to bring to the AEW women's roster, but do they really need her?
Let's evaluate as we go through the shows.
Well, anyway, man, good luck to them. I guess I love signing every ex-WWE guy and girl at this point. You know what, dude? That's about it, man. There's nothing really to talk about, man. Again, the news has been pretty quiet the last 3 weeks, to be fair. I don't remember a time where it's been this quiet. Oh, well, I know you don't care, and I think you got asked this even on the next level, but I could be wrong. But how do you feel about Britt Baker allegedly asking for a release from AEW and wanting to go to WWE?
How do I feel about it? I mean, that's just what people have been saying. Like, they've been saying this for a long time now, and I guess they're still saying it.
I don't even think she'll be that special in WWE. Honestly, I don't think they rate her, man. I don't know why. It's just my perception.
I thought that in the past with people before, but it's up to them if they decide, you know, like, oh, we're just going to push you now just because we're being spiteful and we're just going to show AEW that we could get somebody over that you couldn't or whatever. Yeah, of course they don't need her. What do they need her for?
But they don't. Yeah, Lizzie's right, 100%.
They already have a reptile version. They don't need the real version, you know?
That's awesome.
Unless they want an on-site dentist, you know? But
I mean, it's handy.
Somehow I don't think she would. I'm pretty sure she would just take that as an insult somehow, even though it's her job.
Oh, man, that's funny. Well, in staying with AEW, also Ian Riccoboni signs a new contract with AEW Ring of Honor. Good for him, I guess. I don't rate him, but for whatever reason, I've never been a real fan of his. I don't like his style, especially after what happened with Kevin Kelly. that irked me even more. He just comes across as like a snitch. Like you never would want to talk work-related things with Ian Riccoboni, put it that way. He's like a little rat straight to Tony, man.
I mean, he's definitely got his own particular, like you said, style of commentary, which you don't care for. Well, you know, for a while there, it was, you know, when it's him and Caprice Coleman on Ring of Honor, you know, they did good teamwork, but like when you put Ian with other guy, like you could have a desk potentially that has like, you know, Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, and Ian Riccoboni. You had 3 play-by-play guys. Like,
too much.
No one wants that. So I don't know. He doesn't fit in what they're doing right now.
He doesn't. Sure. He really doesn't, man. And like J12 says, Ian Riccoboni to me is the cheese. Yeah, he's more like blue vein cheese sandwich. That's how bad it is for me. But yeah, man. Before we do get into sifting through Wreckage, actually, Vet, how do you feel about the Evolution sort of build? I know on NXT, and you pointed this out last time, how there's been, you know, they've been building on NXT. On the other shows, they really haven't done shit.
Yeah, well, like I said before, it doesn't need I actually don't like when they do builds to special shows. Oh, okay, I don't like when they do builds to things like, you know, a Saudi Arabian show. Like when it was supposed to be Night of Champions was a little different because it just seemed that it sort of had to take place in Saudi Arabia. But the other times that they've gone there in the past for Crown Jewels and things, it just seemed like they shoehorned in all that creative on the shows leading up to it, and it felt really awkward or rushed and unnecessary. It's like just have a house show, you know.
That's it, man.
And that's it. And I think Evolution could be that a little bit. Evolution could just be that house show. Hey, look, it's a special attraction. All the women are here, you know, and whatever. But like I said before, the last Evolution show they did looked like ass. Like the arena sucked, the lighting sucked, everything sucked.
They house show-esque.
Yeah, they didn't care. They definitely didn't care. They wanted it to fail. So I just want to see what it would look like if they tried. And I'm not talking about trying with the build. Who cares? Like, first of all, who cares about a build? Stop being none of you care about wrestling, the builds or whatever. You're all too smart for builds anymore. Don't stop talking about the build, please. You're making me sick. You know, all you want is this fucking gossip and drama, and you want to see these people take some bumps or whatever, right? Or cut a good promo. Don't act like you are real. You're not buying into this. This isn't real. You're not like your ticket's not on the line. Like, oh, I'm gonna go if I'm interested. Whatever. You guys are gonna go or not. So enough with the build. But what I'm saying is, on the night of Evolution, I want to see production values. I want to see them put in the effort in, you know, the segments, the presentations, the entrances. Don't just like, just go out there like they did last time. That Evolution was like a damn Ring of Honor show. It just looked like shit, and they definitely wanted to fail. And we know the WWE could do better than that. So I want to see them do better than that this one time. I'm just talking about on this one night. I don't give a shit about the build. I don't give a shit about the storylines. I don't give a shit about any of that. Just give the ladies a showcase, you know? Whatever. Let them succeed or fail based on what you hand them to do. That's basically what I want to see.
That's great stuff. I mean,
and if they don't, if they sabotage it again, okay, then it's cooked and we can never have another women's show, so that we can stop trying. But I don't see the benefit of doing a bad show on purpose. I know why it happened last time, because Vince McMahon is like, fuck him. But he's not there now, so let's, you know, put your money where your mouth is and actually do it right for a change.
Well, like Dark Side Caster says, if wishes were fishes. Yeah. Yeah, pal. But you're right, man. At the end of the day, I feel like they are sabotaging this event as well. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. It just feels weird. They're just not care. I mean, who puts on 3 different events, man, in the same sort of, like, in 3 days in a row? with Great American Bash, Saturday night's main event, and then Evolution. I mean, come on, man. Settle down a little bit here, WWE. You already do a bazillion PLEs as it is. But it is what it is. The Artist Return says, it can be shit for all. I care. My expectation level for an all-women's show isn't high anyway. Great visual, and that's all that matters. WWE being shotgunning storylines anyway.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So that's what I mean. That's exactly what I'm talking about. When you're saying, like, and I know your other comment was long-term storylines don't matter anymore. Well, that's what I'm saying. They're not doing it right. They're not doing it right for anybody. And I'm saying that people like you don't care because you're too smart. And when I say you, I'm talking about all of you guys and you too, artists. It's like, you're all too smart for this. You're not actually buying the storylines. That's what I'm saying. Some of these marks still get into it. But you guys at HMG are too smart now. We've pulled back the curtain way too far. You can't unsee it. So you look at wrestling different now, whether you want to or not. So that's what I mean when I say the stories, like nobody cares about the stories. I mean, you guys. Now, as what you're saying about this show, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Like, on the night, it doesn't matter whether it's Saturday night's main event, doesn't matter whether it's Great American Bash, doesn't matter whether it's Evolution. All the WWE has to do is one job. You have a building where people go out and have matches in a ring, and then you shoot that to look the best you can. That's simple. That's all. And it's going to be the same. It doesn't matter if it's all women, all men, a mix of both, NXT, WWE, whatever. You have the same job every night. So don't do a shitty job when it's just the women. You know what I mean? Like, it should look exactly the same all 3 nights, pretty much, is what I'm trying to say. So if they don't do that, then fuck you.
Shame on them, for sure. We'll see. I am kind of intrigued to see what happens here. I didn't mind the first Evolution event. I actually liked it a little more from what I remember than I thought I would have. But then again, maybe my memory is all out of whack. So hopefully this one is good. But I don't know. I don't have my hopes really held too high. But we'll see. Well, then anyway, that was the news of the week. There wasn't too much, but again, it's been pretty quiet in the last few weeks. I'm sure we'll get a lot more news coming after all these PLEs this week, including AEW All In. But I think it's time to put our gloves on, Vet. Let's start sifting through that wreckage. And there's a bit of it.
What's a little bit of an anniversary sift? I mean, this is 300 Dynamites.
And 100 Collision.
Yeah. 300 Dynamites, 100 Collisions. I mean, we've sifted through all the Collisions, but I mean, I wasn't here for some of these Dynamites, so nonetheless, it feels like I have.
Yeah, well, same here. I was doing the skirmish, so to be fair.
So,
but you know what? How many shows have we done? I want to know. We should be over a 200 at this point with the Wreckage, right? I want to go back and count that shit.
Well, the Wreckage started when Collision started, so we should have 100.
At least, the very least, right? Exactly. Yeah, no, you're right. Spot on. We're at 100.
Is that Australian math? Like,
I'm an idiot. Don't worry.
All right.
You're right. We're at 100 for sure.
So, well, we might have 101 because I'm sure there's a couple of times where like they didn't do a show and we did.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, no, you're right. We're ahead of
Collision. So we might have a couple over.
You're right. Maybe just 2 of them max.
Yeah. But anyway, this is the 300th Dynamite, allegedly. So we're going to start it off with Hang Person. He comes out. He's fired up. He demands a Texas death match from Jon Moxley because they're in Texas.
Yeah, but
you got to die if you go to Texas.
Texas death. That's what he's screaming every time.
Give me liberty or give me Texas death, he says. And then Moxley comes all the way out with his music down the aisle, comes through, comes in the ring, gets on the microphone and says, no.
Wow. Why should he? He's the champ, right?
Right. So then they get into a scuffle, and Hangman gets over in the scuffle, and he starts to reach into his pocket, and he's got a damn fork in his pocket like Abdullah the Butcher somehow. He's got a fork. He could have brought, I mean, obviously, he was going to try to kill him, so he could have brought anything, but he just brought a fork. Why not?
Why not?
Not even the knife. Not even the knife from the kitchen that he swiped the fork from. He just got a fork. Like if you're walking by a kitchen and you were stealing a utensil that you plan to put in your pocket and use on Jon Moxley. So you mean to tell me you're just going to pass up just the knife? Like, right off the top of my head, I'm sure there was probably a knife close by, but you get the fork. Why the fork? What advantage does the fork have over the knife? You can't slice with a fork. With a knife, you could stab and slice, but a fork, you can only stab, really. So, you know, you're limiting yourself. You're really limiting yourself with your criminal assault.
With your criminal assault. I know, it's stupid. I hate that type of shit. Be real, man. Why a fork? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe it's a wrestling thing, right? Like you said, Abdullah the Butcher used to love his forks. But whatever, man. It's corny. And him screaming death, death every 2 seconds is corny as well.
Yeah. So you know, of course, at this point, the rest of the Dick Riders come down and peel him off, stop him from using the fork.
You got the fork, though.
Yeah. And Marina, like, she slaps him, and then he's like, he looks at her, and then she slaps him again. She slaps him repeatedly. But then everybody else finally gets on him, and, you know, Claudio gives him the neutralizer, and they're all trying to leave. And then, he gets on the mic and he's like, is that the best you got? You know, this whole shit that everybody, you know, I'm going to no-sell the neutralizer. No problem. Claudio sucks. Nobody likes him. So I'll just no-sell his finisher. Then, you know, here come the Opps. I mean, they could have came earlier before he got neutralized, but whatever. They came late, you know, better late than never, as I say, as you said. And then, you know, he basically, under the threat of Will Hobbs beating the shit out of everybody for real, I guess Jon Moxley's like, all right, you could have Texas dead.
It's so corny.
And then to show how serious he is about this match, he gives Marina Shafir the buckshot lariat.
Ooh. He's a tough guy now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Since he put down a woman, because, you know,
and he has a case, but he doesn't open it and take the thing. He just gives it back.
I want to know I haven't seen that AEW World Championship for that long that now I want to know if it's even in the case in the first place. It'd be funny if they really lost it and they're just covering up by doing this. I'd pop if that was the case. I know it's not, but still. Liz says, however, if it was a rusty fork, wow, that would work, right? You know what? Did you notice with Moxley? Did you notice, first of all, on Twitter right now, on the X, did you notice Dean Ambrose, not Jon Moxley, is trending right now? He's trending, I kid you not. He was trending number 2, and I'm like, Dean Ambrose. So I click on it, and everyone, I don't know what the fuck. Wrestling fans are weird, but everyone's calling him Dean Ambrose instead of Jon Moxley. I have no idea why, but they're saying that this version of Moxley basically is Dean Ambrose. I didn't sit there for long enough to get any more information, but I'm just like, you guys are weird. So I just got away from it. But also, did you notice him fucking up? Because the crowd was just on his back. And he went to say something, but then he's like, and then corrected himself.
I mean, it always sounds like that to me, so I don't really know what was different this time. But
I agree with that, actually, about him saying that Marina Shafir's character has benefited the most from the whole Death Riders angle. I actually agree with that. I was thinking that. When I saw it coming out, I was thinking, you know what? She's the one that is put over the most. Even though I don't think that's intentional, but that's what's happening. I actually agree with that. Do you agree with that, Vet? Or,
I mean, of those guys, probably.
It's done nothing for anyone else. Not even Yuta, dude. Like, no one. I can't really. It hasn't done anything. Not for Claudio. What's Claudio doing? You know what I mean? Like, really nothing.
Well, he's just the other bald guy that wears a white t-shirt now.
Cool. He's just so generic, bro. You know what? He even sounded, when he done a promo, when he was talking shit, whatever, he sounded German for a minute. I was like, is he talking German? What's he doing?
Yeah, he was.
He was he? Okay, well, there you go. But anyway, that was that. Cool. We're going to get a death match. Not Texas death match, just death.
Well, I mean, why would somebody bring it up if it wasn't going to happen?
Well, yeah, that's true. You're right.
So it's like the suspense really doesn't exist, because as soon as somebody mentions a stipulation, you know it's going to happen. It's not like they're going to not do it. But anyway, so, you know, this new Superman movie's coming out soon. And
who would have thought?
So that means that it's it's product integration time. So we're going to get a spot with Tony Storm here. You know, doing a little stuff with the Superman actors. And I'm sure it was funny, but I wasn't paying attention. Then she comes out and she's got a table seat, just much the same way Mercedes always has like her little steak set up outside. Well, Tony's going to have dinner and a match because it is Mina Shirakawa versus Mercedes Moné. You know, they have a match. Mina goes for something and gets cradled. So that's like, you know, that's the CEO throwing Tony's big move in her face, the big package, saying like, I can beat her with this too. And, whatever. And then Mercedes, you know, does the thing where she kind of like nails, Mina again. And then Tony runs her off. And then she does the whole like U-turn, comes back in, nails Tony too. And then she goes over and she licks the cake, that's out there. And has a little bit of the bubbly as well to wash it down. Yeah. So there you go. CEO. Say hello to your CEO. There you go.
Look, we're both expecting, you know, the CEO to go over Tony, right, this coming Sunday. But they don't do it traditionally. Usually when you see something like this, it's usually like, you know, Wrestling 101, right? When the heel gets something over the babyface, usually it's the babyface that's going to end up winning come pay-per-view. In this case, it feels the other way around, the way they're going to do it. I don't see, obviously, Tony having any chance of beating Mercedes Moné come this Sunday. Or do you think maybe they'll prove us wrong?
Well, what sounds better? Does it sound better to have, you know, 6 belts or 7 belts Moné? Or
no.
Just still 1 belt Tony?
Yeah, no, I'll definitely, you know, Ultimo Mercedes at this point. I mean,
yeah.
Why not?
It should become a rib. They should find more promotions and more titles to put on her until she really is struggling to get them all out there. And she needs to get a radio flyer wagon to carry them all.
Why not? I mean, shit, she does have Mortos behind her now. He could carry her, I'm sure.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh. The Beast.
Mortos.
Yeah.
That's a preview for later. Or yes. Spoiler.
Yeah, preview. All right. Here's some embarrassing shit. The Young Bucks take a trip to the old school. And literally the old school, like the elementary school. They're swinging on the swings. And they go to their old hood.
Christ.
They hug a fat lady, whoever that was. Yeah, it was awesome. And that limo they had where they just had these shitty decals all over it. Yeah, that was, you know. But see, that's the thing. Like, I could say that, but when they're heels, like, my criticism it falls flat. Like, there's nothing. Right? Well, so, oh my right. Goodness gracious. Look, we got another bald-headed, bearded bastard here. Ben, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, Vat, how are you, man? Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah, man, it has been. I know you guys were going today, and people were asking last night. I said, nope, Vat's calling this one, right? So glad to be back this morning, and I just wanted to jump in and say good morning, but really talk about a couple matches on Collision that I was absolutely more than overjoyed. After
I bet I know what one of them is.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
All right, we're fast forwarding.
That was a great match.
We're fast forwarding, guys. Pull your track bar over to. Yeah, I bet you it's well, we're gonna start with FTR and the Outrunners.
Yeah, we can, and or I can give you the one before that if we want to build to the main event.
Well, it must have been. What else was there? Jeez.
I go ahead. I'll let you guess.
It couldn't have been Scorpio Sky versus Max Caster, right? Because it was over in 55 seconds. So anything that's that short on AEW is great in my book.
That's right. That could be the best one of the night, actually.
Yeah.
So, no, man. Nick Wayne and Kevin Knight versus Shelton Benjamin. This is how triple threats are not easy to book. To make it fluid and look good and what you have to do to tell different types of stories that don't have a title based around them in a triple threat, just a straight triple threat. And in that, it's like the two smaller guys have to work together, even though they're opponents at the same time, to F off the guy who's the legend and twice their size. The legend shines. Shelton Benjamin comes in, eats him up because he's Shelton goddamn Benjamin, one of the greatest athletes in the history of professional wrestling, and has 3 decades of experience now to share with them. Nick Wayne is, I'd say, Rip Rogers' guy, because him and his father, his late father, Buddy Wayne, and Rip were great friends. And, you know, you can see it. The kid grew up in the ring. I think we met him when he was like 4 years old, maybe, when they came to visit OVW. And the kid's selling with his face up, and, you know, they're doing old. Yeah. Wow. I think Buddy passed like maybe about 4 or 5 years after that. So yeah. But I like that they showed the Wayne dojo when they were doing the thing, even though the storyline didn't really work out when they were there in the garage dojo. I thought that was cool and good respect, and showed pictures of his dad. I thought that was A+. But this kid's selling. It really is a 10-year vet. He grew up crawling, crapping his pants probably in that ring. You know what I mean? So he's doing the right things and diving at the right time. And it's all because these kids are now reined in by Shelton Benjamin, and everybody plays their part. That Kevin Knight dude took tons of heat. I haven't seen the matches leading up to it, but it seemed like him and Shelton, like, I think Hurt Business had gotten heat on him a couple times before. Yeah. So he's taking the biggest bumps, and just dying and fucking off while Shelton and goes back with Nick Wayne. And then they'll come back in, double team feed. Those guys will do their spot. Shelton comes in, cleans their clocks. Great give and take back and forth, exactly how it should have gone. And Kevin Knight takes all the heat, and Kevin Knight goes over in the end. Rip Rogers would say to us, fuck it, I'm winning. Let him take 90% of the match, because now I know my finish is a lot easier when I slip over on you. But I don't need to eat you up and look strong unless it's a get-over match for like a bulldozer guy. And it's exactly the payoff it should have been, with the guy who took all the biggest bumps going over, so you get the biggest pop and it means the most at the end. So I was just like, wow, you could just see MVP and Shelton took these kids in, quarterbacked this, made it pretty idiot-proof. Not that it wasn't a simple match. I'm not saying they're dumb, those guys, but, you know, it all worked together and was super safe. And the dives and the spots all meant something for the first time. When we get to Outrunners and FTR, we'll talk more about that. But I could see this. Is this a trend where it's like, all right, don't let the indie guys do the duck one, come back, hit you, square off, boom, bop. Like, this shit had great pacing, but the psychology was better than almost anything I had seen in AEW in the 5 years I'd watched. And then to tack on Outrunners and FTR's magic, I was like, really, wow. I was just like, wow, yeah. Collision is great. And to be honest with you, I enjoyed Willow Nightingale's match too. And I thought it was
funny enough.
Yeah. Yeah. It was how she should be booked. Nothing was overdone and crazy. I'm not sure if she's on the Ozempic gimmicks or not, but she looks beautiful and great. You know what I mean?
Weight, man.
Absolutely. She's lost, yes. And I think, not to say like, oh, she's still rotund. I like a curvy woman. I like an hourglass figure, but she's beautiful. And it's the same commentary I had with Nia Jax, also beautiful former model. Like, let's see you get to the best version. It doesn't mean you got to be waif thin, but healthy and athletic and looking great. And I thought she absolutely knocked it out of the park too on the way up to this match that blew my mind. But I laid a lot out there. Vat, how do you feel about that triple threat, man?
Well, I mean, it makes sense, everything you're saying. I mean, look, couldn't that have been a Shelton Benjamin call to just be like, well, who's going over? Okay, Kevin Knight, well, then he's going to get his ass kicked. Like, that seems like exactly the kind of thing that he would call. If not, I don't know who else in the back is agenting these matches, because I'm watching these matches and I'm not seeing matches like this. So you kind of have to, when there's smoke, there's fire. And you could say that for the same. It's interesting, too, because like you said, you got a Rip Rogers guy and Shelton Benjamin. You got a pseudo, or like not pseudo, a proxy Rip Rogers guy.
Jason, Rip Rogers and Jason, right?
Yeah, at the very least. So, and, you know, so he gets it, right? And Kevin Knight, I know that, you know, you've got your crusade about New Japan Wrong Style, but this is a dojo guy. He was married to Kushida for the first couple years of his career as a tag team. Kushida knows exactly what to do in a match at any given time to get over, especially in front of people that, because that's the thing about the Japanese guys that people don't understand as much. They have to get over with, you hear how everybody just says, no one knows who the fuck you are, right? Like that's the criticism from all these guys, like the Cornettes and everybody. Well, nobody knows who the fuck you are. Well, they're used to that. And so everywhere around the world that they go, they have to know how to get over on that night doing that thing. So a lot of times when you see them come to AEW, they're like, well, this is what these people like, so I'm going to do that. And that's what they end up doing. So Kevin Knight knows, this is how it's got to be. And if Shelton Benjamin's going to tell him, shut the fuck up and shut the fuck up, that's what he's going to do. He knows that much too. So he's a strong fundamental base on that kid, which is what the people that come out of the New Japan Dojo generally have.
And if he worked with Kushida that much enough, he's already getting a rub there from a top guy. So he knows, obviously, their culture is about respect. But when Shelton Benjamin, MVP, our quarterback, and you shut the fuck up and shut the fuck up and play your part. And he did. He had to get maybe 20% offense in when him and Nick Wayne had to double team Benjamin. But he's right back on the cell. He got some of his shit in on Nick Wayne, which was good. But dude, he was taking the big flop bumps and like just on the sell. 70% of his part in that match was selling, and he did a fucking great job because it meant his slip over at the end was like, oh, the guy who fucking and that's the beauty of a triple threat, because it's the chaos factor of anything can happen right at the end, and you can all get your shit in, and I'll capitalize because the grenade went off, right? So
and it also serves to further the business that they were doing, because the whole idea of Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey challenging Bobby and Shelton for those tag team championships and them getting absolutely destroyed by those guys as if, well, you're not worthy. And then you absolutely clean their clocks every single week. And now you've got to, it's like, well, we're not worthy. Well, I just beat one of you. So even the finish is doing business for the future tag match that's probably coming up.
The only thing I wanted afterwards, and this is just my twisted sense of humor, is before the match started, I wanted a pre-tape, because I get MVP and Hurt Biz out of the package and Mama Wayne's with Nick, and I don't know much about Kevin Knight, and I've worked shows with Bailey, but I wanted a pre-tape where Mama Knight does what she does. She's hot, milfy, and whatever, Stifler's mom, right? And she tries to seduce Bailey to keep him from ringside, and he just tells her that he's gay and then blows her off so she can get a reaction. We needed some character stuff there, and her trying to get the dude who was on the sheets last week is whatever he is. I don't want to fucking label him, you know what I mean, by whatever.
Didn't he marry Veda Scott?
Yeah, he did. But, like that whole thing. But he's just the other way with it, and she has to eat shit. I thought, like, all right, we have these two other characters. I'm glad they didn't jump up and really get involved in the match, either of them. You know what I mean? That's another thing I liked about it. But they could have had a 30-second pre-tape to kick things off before that match where he shines her, and she could have just been miffed ringside, like, I hate wrestling him, fucking man. You know what I mean? And taking herself out of the equation. But small things. I mean, as far as what I watched and what I haven't, I haven't watched in a while to follow the storylines, but as a standalone match, standalone match, and commentary did a good job making me know that the Kevin Knight and Hurt Biz kind of had some history, and that's why it was like that. So I tip my hat to him, and I say more of that, more of let's get young guys with older guys. So let's get young guys with veterans, and let them be quiet and let these veterans show them, because the only way you're ever going to get better is being able to work with people who have done it at a higher level than you have. And then you'll understand the timing and how simple it can be. But when you have young, hungry, lions who just want to be in the ring and be on TV, they're going too fast, getting too much in. None of it means anything. It's overbooked, and nobody gets over, and it's an accident waiting to happen and beyond botchamania because you're trying to do way too much. This is the opposite of that, and I hope we continue down that yellow brick road.
We won't, but let's go to the yellow brick road that that takes us to I don't know, the Emerald City of FTR and Big Stoke.
Yeah.
Versus the Outrunners, of course. Outrunners are near and dear to our hearts.
This is the match of the week, guys. Even over any match on Dynamite.
Bro, this could be match of the decade, match of the last
sure.
2 decades, in my opinion.
Even maybe possibly the best match in AEW history. Even
I may agree with that, bro. It's definitely a top 3 in my opinion. It's better. It's WrestleMania quality, you know, at a level FTR. FTR has been striving to be the brainbusters their whole career, right?
Wow.
And they keep getting put with guys that have to get their shit in, and they're going way too fast. They're doing this, and Dax is on, you know, Twitter, like blowing the gimmick that Tully Blanchard would never have done. And you're like, okay, it took the Outrunners all this time to get there and bring out the FTR that the FTR dreamed of being when they first started. They've never been like they were in this match.
Well, okay, right there. So let me just stop you right there. Sell to the corner. If it's the Outrunners that get them here, then that means it was never FTR in the first place. Because I've been on the anti-FTR bandwagon since NXT. Okay, I've said that these guys, all they do is they watch old shit and they don't understand what they're seeing. Sure. They're just copying it, just like everybody else. The difference between people watching TNA guys and copying those flips and not understanding why they were doing them, and copying older stuff like, you know, the Brainbusters or the Rock and Roll and Midnight and all that stuff, they're still doing the same thing. They're doing the stuff. They don't know why it works. They don't understand where to do it and all this stuff. So FTR has never been anything but the more traditional version of what everybody else is doing that's fucking wrestling up now. So
I agree. And they were, because they got over and were part of the programs, you couldn't say shit to them or they'd get butthurt. But even they didn't realize this. I'm not saying the FTR are rookies. They've been around for a minute.
Sure.
This is putting Shelton Benjamin with them so they shut up and listen. And I don't care if you just saw him on AEW. Truth Magnum is more of a veteran than both of the guys in FTR.
Yes.
He's been wrestling longer, and he was a Buddy Wayne guy when he came to OVW at age 21. So another 20-year overnight success, and also his tag partner was at OVW after we were there, but he put in 8-10 years as well, and then they gambled to get that over on the indies. FTR never had that struggle. They were Florida guys who got fucking knighted, and now you're the boys.
Ben, do you know that Cash was a backyard wrestler? He's never even been trained properly. He admitted this.
Perfect. And now, like, I got to believe they went home. Maybe they're delusional. Like, yeah, we helped the Outrunners get over. But the reality is, for the first time in what they've been trying to be since NXT, they got to be it for real. This match was the first time they got to actually go out there, beat Tully and Arn, and do it the right way with guys who fucking sell it and know how to put the psychology together. Now, I mean, I'm fine with this because I'm, you know, beyond wrestling, politics, and worrying, but I call him Shiloh. Truth Magnum asked me to watch this match, and I was excited to see it, and I was moved, bro. Like, we dedicate a lot of time as art form. When we get to see our friends shine, it's like we all win, you know? And this match exceeded everything and more of what I even was imagining it might be for a TV match to start off with. And it's Rip Rogers 101. It's OVW 101. It's so simple of separate and isolate the tag partners. I love the heat that they worked on Turbo Floyd's leg on the outside with the steps, and just Turbo Floyd, I hope he's not injured by any means, but like, he had the night off, stayed out on the ground, and Sal will come over, fuck your leg up, and then we'll go work another 3 minutes on Truth Magnum.
Easiest thing in the world. Nobody wants to do it.
So easy. And Vet, you're a tag team specialist. Here's the thing. When you want to be one of the best in this business, the people who are usually end up being at the very top, whether it's Edge, Steve Austin, you almost always come up in a tag team. Tag team wrestling is far harder to master timing wise, story wise, because there's more pieces and there's more opportunities to like almost give it to the crowd and take it away on the tag and condition them for the tag and get somebody out of danger. And there's more hope in a tag match of if he could only get his partner in, they might have like all that's there where there you can get that in a singles. But when you can master tag team wrestling, being a singles wrestler is much easier after that in how to do it. So these guys, Shiloh's a tag team master as well, obviously, with Turbo Floyd. So these guys understood how to do that, and they just kept giving it, taking away. They would sell chops and meat chop instead of standing there bowing up and hitting elbows and looking in the other guy's face. Nope, you chop me, bro. Oh, I'm feeling it. I'm hurting. I'm selling. I might bow up to punch you, block it, hit me with another one, and I sell to the next corner. All the way to the point where they get color in the middle of the match, old school. Now we're definitely Smoky Mountain Memphis level stuff with, you want to call him Shiloh, Truth Magnum, selling up so you can, and getting to where the camera is, where he's just in character, but he knows the camera's right there to get the shot. This is the level of a professional of you. Not only are you the performer and the booker and the psychology, you have to be the director too while you're in the ring doing this with blood dripping down their face to get the shot and probably talk to the cameraman beforehand to be like, bro, I want to be here and what I'm looking for is this shot. So when I get color, be on this side of the ring so I can, like, all this is in a master performer's basket of what you have to do to play at the highest levels and have the vision of TV before it ever goes out there. And he did 15 fucking years on OVW TV in so many iterations. By the time they get to the middle of the match, he's got color coming down and you are with them. You want that tag so bad. And I'll put this over, not on Cash. What's his partner? Not the bald one. That is Cash, right? He's the
Cash is the non-bald one.
Non-bald one. I think he should do this, and I don't know if he doesn't play the game. He goes out and gets heat on Turbo Floyd on his leg, and the ref's like, come on, what are you doing? He's like, I'm sorry, I don't know why I can't follow the rules. Something's wrong. Like, he apologizes genuinely to the ref, but it's so disingenuous, and then turn around and give the guy one. I thought that was fucking great, and we should turn that up. Where he's like, man, why can't I just stop cheating? I don't know what's wrong with it, you know. Like, there was so many good character things and character moments. No dives. They fought on the outside. They took it back in, but it was nothing egregious. For Rip Rogers style, maybe a little bit too many false finishes and breakups. Like, you might have removed 2 or 3. It didn't offend
me as much this time, though.
No, they didn't. No, because they weren't anything crazy moves that people were not selling, right? They were O'Connor roll, schoolboy, fucking da-da-da-da. I would have liked if they were doing that, schoolboy feet on the ropes, Turbo Floyd gets up just in time to swipe the feet off the ropes or something like that. Absolutely. You know, like but these are the tiniest, nitpickiest shit things where, all right, now we've got that match. You can run that motherfucker in every territory for the next 2 years between them. And then on the next one, that's what it is. Feet on the ropes, you swipe it. We'll do almost 90% of the same shit in a different way. There was just so much unbelievable wrestling in this 20 minutes that maybe it's just me wanting to live vicariously through my friend, but when a guy like that wins, and they didn't win the match, they won. But they won still. A piece of history, of wrestling history. This match should be studied in wrestling schools from here to eternity. Of this is how you take old school and bring it into the new school with the false finish stuff at the end, and really bring them in. And heels went over. It didn't matter because now you still want to see the baby faces get over on FTR. We can run it back in another way. I just hope they don't get silly with it where it has to become like, we got to do hardcore. We got to do cage. Now they can do a cage, but I want old school cage style as well. They need to understand they have the hottest flavor on the Baskin Robbins 31 flavors right now. And with what I saw with Shelton Benjamin and what I saw with this match and what I saw with Willow Nightingale working her size and being the character she should be, I was fucking blown away by this AEW Collision. I have to sit there and watch Raw. Dude, SmackDown had fucking 5 tag team segments on it. I wanted to
SmackDown
fucking
sucked, dude.
smash somebody,
It
bro.
sucked.
It's unbelievably bad. And then here's the B show, right, of AEW, and it was better than any Dynamite I had watched in almost my entire time of doing commentary on it, dude. So I'll talk more about this on the Monday Locker, I'm sure, with Rick Vickery. I'm probably talking about it for the next 5 years of whatever I talk about in wrestling. But I couldn't be more proud of him. I don't know Dax and Cash. I can have commentary about all the petty bullshit and whatnot. Fuck all that, the wrestling IWC. When it comes to the purity of the art form, those guys were on the pinnacle of where they've ever been in this business, performance-wise, timing-wise, chemistry-wise. I salute them. I congratulate them, and I'm proud of them, and I'm proud of professional wrestling because of that match, dude.
All right.
100%
Well, that was a rousing and a beautiful celebration of some. It's just sad that it had to be here and like this and with very little fanfare and will be forgotten immediately.
He should have been at all.
It shouldn't be
after that.
How many matches in Memphis and Smokey and in early WWF fit that criteria? Where when you find a Piper versus Mr. Perfect, you felt like you found a gem. And I'd almost like that more than having it being pimped out for Spot Monkey fans who don't understand the brilliance of what was really put into that match in simplicity, chapters, double heats, how to keep somebody alive, how to give it you the false finish, how you think they're going to get it and you take it away. And when we say roller coaster ride, if you were to plot this out as like an analytic dork and how psychology works, this was an absolute roller coaster ride on there. Get him. Fuck, got him. That, like, you're just on twists and turns, and so simple that those guys could probably go home that night, put a little fucking, antibiotic ointment on the cut that he had, get up and do that again the next day with no problems, bro. It was pro wrestling perfection.
Well, here's how you know it's good. So necessarily, because of the nature of how I have to partake in watching these shows, a lot of it is distracted. Like I have to multitask. I have to sort of like absorb the wrestling through my skin, and I don't just rarely get to just sit and enjoy, just sit and and focus on a match and just enjoy the match for what it is. I don't get to do that the way you did it. And I didn't do it here. I mean, I didn't even barely watch this match at all, but you know what I did?
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I felt the match because I could hear the people.
Yeah.
Even when I'm glancing over to the side and like, okay, what are they doing? What are they doing? But I felt the entire, not the flow of the match, but yes, the flow of the match through the people who are normally just like, yay, like they know their part to cheer. But this was like, okay, yeah, we're into this now.
They weren't
Maybe they didn't start by thinking they would be into it. But by the end of it, they were absolutely stomping their feet and everything. And so like when you could feel the match and you don't even have to watch it, like, yeah, this is easily one of the better matches that, they've ever had on.
It really was. I was shocked at how good the match was. I couldn't believe it.
Or WWE. The WWE doesn't do matches like this, not really.
This is what pro wrestling is supposed to be. That was a standard of where everybody else should be trying to do shit. Not, hey, I got fucking knockout 3 times, but I can stand up and throw an enziguri and we both double down. No, you don't know what you're doing. You don't understand pro wrestling of I'm knocked out 1 second, but I can jump up, hit an Inzi, and then I'm knocked out again. Sorry, you don't understand this shit at the fundamental level of how it's supposed to be because you had to get it in right there, So, and that's 90% of the people on their roster. Even Will Ospreay put it over, and I usually don't respond to anybody like that. And it wasn't malicious, but I was like, yeah. That's Rip Rogers OVW 101 psychology, and I laid out the reasons why in that match. But he'll be right out there the next time doing fucking flips onto the barrier, and then the next dude's selling them 3 seconds later. Like, they can watch it, they understand it, they respect it, they love it. Then why won't they go out there and do it? I understand they have their own Baskin Robbins 31 flavor of ice cream, but take the psychology, the selling, and making moves mean something and put that on your goddamn style, Ricochet and Will Ospreay. Do they even understand how to do it? Because they got fast-tracked through so many programs that they got blown up and they don't even really understand psychology at a fundamental level, because that seems to be the way things are. But you couldn't tell them that because I've never been on WWE TV, so what the fuck do I know? Well, I know that my character in my match with next to nothing will get more over than your match ever will, and I'll get a bigger response, and I'll get a bigger payoff when I get beat, because it's happened time and time. Well, you're just indie. Well, come to the indies and find out.
You're retired. You're retired. Stop it. Yeah,
I
know
that match. I'm back, baby.
Yeah, we're back, baby. Reinvigorated. I will say this for Ricochet. I know Ricochet knows, because
I was waiting for
yeah, when he had that, I don't know if did you see the match he had with Zach Gowen like a few weeks ago, a couple months ago, whatever it was. He wrestled, like, Ricochet wrestled an absolutely perfect match. It would be all the same things that you said about this match. You know, how to get the guy over but still be getting the heat. Totally old school. So if Ricochet ever does anything, he's doing it on purpose. He knows what he's doing, so it's his choice. Now, Will Ospreay, I don't know if he knows.
No,
he may not know.
It's just go ahead, Jimmy. Sorry.
No. I was agreeing with Vet. Ospreay has no idea about psychology in the ring whatsoever. But Ricochet, like the Vet was saying, I wasn't the biggest fan of Ricochet, but he convinced me why I should be a fan of Ricochet.
Then how do we get Will Ospreay, who's such a talented performer physically, a good promo? Definitely can get over in the promo too. I was impressed with his promo skills. I didn't know much about him. How do we get him with a Shelton Benjamin? Who's his outrunners that can fucking put the key in there and show him how to use his shit and get over the right way and sell, and don't stand there in the pocket and throw forearms, bruv gov, and fucking think that shit is fucking getting over. It's not. It's hurting wrestling. And then people are like, well, it's the evolution. Wrestling's always changed. No, that's the de-evolution. You're fucking going backwards and retrograde when you do that shit. And that's a fucking simplistic millennial excuse of it's evolved. Well, no, because you've just hurt the business, because now nobody's selling because you got to get your shit in and look strong. Somebody's got to look weak off of every strike. You just don't stand there and bow the fuck up in a fight after you get rocked. Like,
Will Ospreay's he's not going to learn. So all you could do is you can get it when it happens. Like when he is put in with some guy, you can get it for that one night, but he's not going to change.
I feel like
there's going to be more.
Somebody should have fucking been able to get something out of this kid and get it.
As these guys are getting older, as the Will Ospreays of the world are climbing up their 30s and stuff, they're more going to be in the Shelton Benjamin spot than they are going to be in the fresh faced rookie spot. That's a
problem.
It is a problem, and we'll just have to see. Like, if anything changes at all, I don't think it will. But yeah, it's just like that's why I think what we're doing here. You know, not just put ourselves over, but I think HMG is important because, like, even if nobody's listening to what we're saying when we say this, and if we're just ranting and raving, it could be found someday by young people who want to. Like, as long as we preserve these episodes, these channels, and things like that, there's a lot of information that people can still get from the things that we say or we try to, the messages that we try to pass it on. We're doing our best to pass on the teachings. Like, if we can't be in the ring with the guys doing it, but we can say it out loud and people can, down the road, they can listen to one of these shows just randomly. They can look things up with time stamps of like, hey, what did they say about this match that happened, so on. And they can find an episode and they can hear a bunch of stuff. I mean, it may not happen, but it's possible to happen. And that's why we have to keep doing it.
Buddy. It happens more than you think, because I'm sure you've had people reach out, but I have my former trainees at UWE and whatnot, and they watch something and then they'll hear about it and they're like, oh, like it takes that time to get it. You know what I mean? And sometimes even you have to hear it from an outside source that's not your trainer to get it. Sometimes that's just human nature of how our psyche works. And you have to be like, oh, I found it myself, but then I want to study this. And like you said, there's the Cliff Notes or the, you know, how many books Are there analyzing things from the Bible or whatever it is, history books, right? Like analyzing Revolutionary War. I'm not trying to compare pro wrestling to that, but we have our similarities in the way we look at the history of it. And, like guys who would have gone to West Point might not have commanded the fucking been the general on the battlefield, that you know about, but doesn't mean they don't understand war tactics and how to execute things. You know what I mean? So great point, Vet, man. And I just want to say thank you guys for all you do at HMG and with watching Dynamite and Collision, and I don't know about ROH if you can watch it anywhere or not, but really, I know Vet's a tag team specialist like myself, and I hope you go back and watch this, Vet, and because I'd love to hear even more about what your opinions on psychology or things that could have been added or taken away. Like I said, if they're going to run it back, maybe we give them 2 or 3 ideas. I'd be happy to help out Truth Magnum, and I actually have a creative idea for the Outrunners that I'm going to get down on paper that could take them far beyond professional wrestling. So I'm excited for them, man. And I love to see my brothers and sisters like Serena Deeb shining bright and getting to do the art form at a level that inspires others who are considered top guys. And they're learning by watching how this shit should be done by those that had to fight for 20 years to even get an opportunity. It's crazy,
man. It is crazy, absolutely. 100%.
But y'all infidels, I'll be back probably about 45 minutes. Sorry to eat up all your guys' time. I'll let you guys take it home. I'm gonna
you guys are on right after us. So
yeah. We're gonna Monday Locker Room's going live at noon. So all the HMG you guys can handle today. Me and RBV will be back. But missed you, Vet. I just wanted to salute you and say thank you, and Jimmy T as well. DJ Massive Effects. Is in the house. And Hacker Hami and Infidels, you know who it is.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
That was Ben, folks. I mean, that was a good run in. That was great. And you know what?
Let's take it home, Jimmy. You can't follow that. So good night, everybody.
Really. You guys, it was a pleasure just listening to both of y'all. No, for real, because I'm under the learning tree here, just listening to both of you break down those matches, because that's, my job is just to keep quiet and just listen to that, man, because that was a pleasure listening to that. But he's right. I mean, that match particularly, Collision was a much better show, actually, funny enough, than Dynamite, for me anyway. And that match, it really blew me away because I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. So, I mean, it's crazy. So, like Ben said, I'm telling you, Vic, go and check it out, man.
All right.
You won't be disappointed, 100%.
Well, I'll be sure not to. But anyway, let's move on with what we had next. I believe we're going to rewind it back to Dynamite. Let's talk about, I mean, this is all going to have to be quick now.
Yeah.
It's a 4-way. It's MJF, it's AR Fox, it's Mr. Five Tool, and it's Brody King. And MJF tries to bribe Brody King, and he won't take it. So Max goes to the commentary desk, and that's pretty funny because while the rest of the match is going on, anybody that tries to get close to him, there's the Hurt Syndicate like standing in front of the desk, so they can't really. So I thought that was a nice little touch, the Hurt Shield. And then AR Fox breaks up a pin, and MJF slides in and gives him the salt of the earth, and he taps out. So MJF wins this 4-way.
This match was long though, dude. It was long, it felt like.
Well, let's not make it any longer because there's more stuff after. Briscoe,
right,
Mark Briscoe comes out, and I love this because he says you have just ensured yourself an uninterrupted ass whooping for a brief moment in time in Dallas. Texas.
That's how we said the promo, literally.
Yeah, that's exactly. I wrote it down. I made sure to write it down. And he says that next week we should get in there and have a little talky talk. So.
No, he killed him, man. This was great.
Yep. And then Jet Speed comes down and tries to attack, and then they get destroyed again, which is kind of leading up into this match that we were talking about earlier. But they try to get the jump on the Hurt Syndicate, but they just get their ass kicked repeatedly. I believe it's 3 times that the Hurt Syndicate goes back to kick their asses. And then finally, Kevin Knight says that he wants Shelton on Collision. But at some point, this just got turned into a 3-way. Like we'll talk.
Yeah, I was going to ask both of you this, and I'm thinking maybe I missed something, so I kept my mouth shut. So I didn't want to embarrass myself. But I'm glad you said it, because how did that become a three-way? What did I miss?
I don't know either. It's probably some on social media, if anything at all. I don't know. I missed it. If anybody knows, let me know, because I know this was a straight challenge from Kevin to Shelton.
There was nothing, dude. I'm telling you. That's why I'm glad you
Right.
said that, man. I was wondering that too. But
Okay.
I wanted to point out quickly, Knight says something about his mama or some shit.
Yeah, he
about
made
Shelton's
the
mum,
reference to Shelton Benjamin's mama,
and then called him a bitch, basically. And that's,
Yeah.
to convince him to have that match on Collision. But yeah.
Yeah, if there's one thing a wrestler can't stand being called, it's a bitch. They will always
bitch.
come and fight you. So,
100%.
all right, the Founding Fathers are back in town. They've come back just in time for their match. It's going to be them and Takeshita versus Paradiso. Yeah, if you thought I was going to watch this match, you're out of your fucking mind. I do know that O'Reilly got absolutely murdered at the end of it. They just ran a train on him for like 45 seconds straight of hitting him with finishers. He looked like he was fucking dead afterwards. And then Oswerve hits the ring, and they're like, hey, what's up on that match at All In? And the Bucks are like, no.
Stupid.
They're like, no, what do we get out of it? Which, to be fair, that's exactly what I was wondering. What do the Bucks get out of it? And then Ospreay says that if they lose, they won't challenge for the AEW title for 1 year. And the first thing I think of is, why do the Bucks
Cody?
care about that?
Right, and Cody too. That went through my mind, if you remember.
Yeah.
That stipulation. But yeah, it's stupid. Why would you use that as a stipulation to convince the Bucks? And like you said, so what? What does that do for the Bucks?
Yeah. Well, and so this could be foreshadowing, because hold on. Well, anyway, they do like, for whatever reason in the storyline, the Bucks do like that deal, so they'll take it. But as far as us trying to make sense of it, I don't know. But here's what it could do. I mean, the reason that they may have done this is because, we talked about how did you not put Ospreay over Hangman, right? Like in
Right.
their
I
match.
can't believe that still. Right.
Yeah. And if they're saying that, like, the only, like if they lose this match, the only way that the only way they'll accept it is if Ospreay and Swerve, but let's just focus on Ospreay, right? Ospreay can't challenge for the AEW championship for 1 year. Okay. So what's 1 year from now?
True.
All in
Same
again,
thing.
right?
Right. Yeah.
Back in Wembley?
Exactly. Oh, yeah, possibly.
No, it is.
Oh, it is? It's 100% confirmed? Oh,
Yes,
then
the
there you
only
go.
reason that it's not in Wembley this year is because Coldplay already had it booked years ago.
Right, that's right. So you saying basically this is going to be a spoiler for the future?
It's
in
going to
other
be
words?
the reason why Ospreay doesn't win,
Right.
or he's not going to challenge for the title for 1 year, because it's going to not be till All In, right?
And this is the story all the fucking way till we get to All In 2026. I don't like it already, dude.
Well,
'Cause-
make a deal.
yeah,
Just like the
Yeah.
Bucks. Deal with it.
make a deal. Right, exactly.
All right, then we get the another Superman spot with Max, MJF, and Kenny. And then we get Oswerve versus Jolistico and in a heroes and villains match.
So, they got to stop this shit, please. Please, just stop. But yeah, that's what it is. What can I say? Decent match, right? I mean, it was all right for the most part, but I really didn't care about it because really, what's the story? Not that I needed a story, but what's, why? Why are these guys facing each other, dude?
Because some are heroes and some are villains. All right, now,
Okay, that's right.
obviously the heroes win, just
Yeah.
like Superman would.
Of
Okay.
course he would.
Ibushi versus Okada. Okay, now this is not going to quite live up to some of their past matches
No.
from New
No,
Japan,
it's
but
not.
they also only had like 17 minutes with entrances, so it's not like they were going to do anything. Also, Ibushi has broken every bone in his body at some point in the past year, so he's not going to be the same. But he was all right in this. He's
It
pretty
wasn't a bad
good.
match. It wasn't a bad match. I actually didn't mind Ibushi selling, especially in the corner where Okada done some punches, kicks, whatever, and he just dropped, man. He just looked like he was dead in the corner. But yeah, look, it's not like there's 7 previous matches they had before that in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Nothing like that. But in saying that, it was a decent TV match, and I actually liked the match.
Yeah, it was a good match.
But that's all it was.
I don't know.
A good match.
I don't know how he talked Okada into that top rope tiger driver thing that he did. That was nuts.
Yeah, like
that seems like something Okada would definitely say no to. But
well, he trusts him, man. Clearly, he must.
I guess.
He
don't.
doesn't give his body up for hardly anybody, dude, to do shit like that.
I don't.
I wouldn't trust him today. Today's version of Kota definitely wouldn't. Even the peak Kota Ibushi, he was pretty reckless, to be fair. So, yeah, I don't know.
Well, how do you think he got all these injuries?
Right, exactly. It's because of himself. He's a nutcase, man.
Well, he lost this match, so fuck him.
That's okay.
And then, of course, because it's the Callis family, they got to continue beating him up afterwards.
Oh,
just so Kenny can make the save with his music. Don't worry, they did play his music. Well, not the music that we don't like. They played his other music, so it's okay.
Well, actually, I'm happy about that because I don't want to hear freaking Final Fantasy-esque wrestling theme music. Let's be real here, dude. Come on. Why would you have that? But what I do want to point out, did you hear freaking what's his name? Callis, what he said about Kenny and Kota?
What did he say?
When he's next to Kota, he could smell what was the thing that he had again? Kenny's how do you pronounce it? Because I always have trouble saying it. Diverticulitis. That's how you say it, right?
Diverticulitis.
He says I can smell the diverticulitis or whatever it is in his breath, bro. And I'm just like, oh, he didn't just say that. The way he said it, and then no one sold it. They were just like, anyway.
Of course they're not.
So what's he implying, huh? What are you implying, dude? That he's anyway. We won't go there, but I found it funny that he went there.
You already went there, Jimmy.
Well, that's because of him. He went there, and that's pretty ew.
Well, no one was listening, but now you reminded us all.
I had to.
I also think it's funny that like Kenny comes out to make the save, but also he let his friend go out there by himself in the first place. So
I know.
Again,
no common sense, dude. This is typical of professional wrestling, unfortunately. Just like when Penta was coming out to save CM Punk, he's still doing his Penta walk all the way down.
Just got to do a little bit. Well, he's got to get in the mood if he wants to save somebody, you know?
I'm sure. Cool. Whatever. Everyone's guilty of that shit, but it is what it is.
All right. Well, we're guilty of finishing another Dynamite review because that's the end of the show. Collision. We're at Collision 100. Okay. So we're celebrating everything this week. It's great. Story time with Adam Cole, baby. And then it's story time with the Protostar, baby. And then it's story time with Daniel Garcia, baby. And then Adam Cole's like, hey, I'll take on both of you guys in a 3-way because he's a smart guy. He knows that it's always best to have a threesome with 2 dudes, right? And especially when especially when they can pile up on each other and not you, and you can still lose your title, right?
Absolutely. Smart guy.
Yeah, but Garcia's like, nah. I ain't doing that.
Me.
Yeah, I ain't doing a 3-way with 2 dudes. That's what Garcia said. He's like, we already have a match tonight. It should just be a number 1 contenders match. And then Adam Cole's like, well, if that's the way you guys want to do it, then fine by me. And I guess Tony Khan just sat back there and said, well, I guess I'm not booking the show. Fuck. So these guys going to
wasn't booking this fucking show, bro. I'm telling you.
You know. All right, so then we get the Tony Storm vignette. Then we already talked about the 3-way dance between Shelton and, Nick Wayne and Kevin Knight. We got enough of that. Just rewind it if you need to hear Ben talk about that for 10 minutes. Then we get last week not last week, but was it last week or was it on Dynamite? Well, anyway, somebody grabbed Claudio for this interview thing. They were like, excuse me, Mr. Casanoli. Yeah. And then he's like, I have a score to settle it all in. I assume he's talking about.
What was he talking about?
He was talking about,
I actually forgot.
Fuck, who was it? Who's the guy that the guy that,
it's irrelevant.
Yeah, whatever. No one cares.
It doesn't matter.
All right.
I'll tell you that in a minute, man.
All right. Briscoe, Hologram, and Mystico versus Roppongi Hechicero. Okay.
Random, but cool.
Yes. Rocky taps to Mystico as he should.
As he should, yeah.
And then MJF and MVP come on the screen and talk some trash.
And can I ask you before you continue? Did they admit that this show was airing right after Dynamite, by the way?
No.
Okay, because if you notice with MJF, he was still in his wrestling gear from Dynamite. And he was looking all sweaty and all that shit. I don't know if it was a pre-tape. I know it was done on the same night, obviously. But I don't know if that was a pre-tape or it was live in the arena. Either way, it just shows that it wasn't really on the night that it was really on. You know what I mean? So that was a bit silly to me. I mean, he should have been dressed and showered by this point, but that's just me. It's just only a little nitpick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, though. I mean, those are those little things that... Because if you shoot all the if you have your things all organized on the show, you could shoot all your pre-tapes.
Right.
And you could put them wherever you want in the show if it's taped, but that's why this wasn't a pre-tape necessarily. It was a pre-tape, but they played it live on the show because the guys are live in the arena just watching it. So
exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. There's no reason. Cold Blooded wants to know if we know the words to Misko's song. No, of course not.
Oh God,
why would we?
I was gonna play that as a laugh, just as an intro. I was gonna do that.
Don't do it.
I didn't do it. I thought of you, so that's why I didn't do it. I swear to God, that's exactly what went through my mind.
Because when I went to go watch that, like that match, the feed that I saw cut that out.
Really?
Yes, because they were afraid of getting taken down, and I found it on a different feed.
Right.
But I'm just saying that song is definitely copyright strikeable, so don't.
That's why I didn't do it. That's if I had time, I would have changed the key and made it. So it was all good, but it doesn't matter. I didn't do it. That's the point. But that doesn't suit him though, dude. What is this? Like everyone was singing it though. I mean, they're doing some Spanish chants, in the matches, including the FTR and the Outrunners match. They were doing some sort of Spanish chants, which I didn't understand, obviously.
I mean, it's Southern California. There's a lot of
right. It looked like there was a lot of Latinos in the crowd too.
Especially if they knew that CMLL was going to be there.
Yeah, they really love it, don't they? I mean. Around that area, especially, southern, all around the south of the US and, that borders with Mexico, including California, of course. Everyone seems to be into Lucha Libre for sure, man.
Yeah, it's the cool thing to do. Just like it's cool for Swerve to go to NASCAR and hang out for a day.
Oh, God. I don't want to say, but does Swerve come across as
right? Everything that everybody at home is thinking, just think that, and that's what we're thinking. So anyway, yeah, what's up, Jacob? So anyway, Max Caster has a 5-minute challenge. Did you ever find out who that guy was that Claudio was talking about, by the way?
Oh, yeah, I was looking at it, and then I got away from it because, I didn't want to, how my attention spell is.
Power of the phone?
I was looking at no power of the phone, actually. I was looking at the results. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell me, so I have to go into the friggin', when they talk about the whole thing, what happened.
Well, now I'm irritated because I should know this. It was at the, so this was the part where, was it one of the Opps? Was it Samoa Joe?
I think it was one of the Opps, dude. Possibly.
It had to have been Joe, right?
I don't recall it being Joe, though, man.
Because Joe was the one that got in his face, I thought.
Okay, possibly. But it was just the promo was just in the back. It was a pre-tape promo or whatever.
No, I know, but he was referring, because the pre-tape was supposed to have happened after the part on Dynamite when they all got, they got run off after Hangman forced Jon Moxley to give him the Texas Death Match. So the only other people that was out there, it was just the Hangman and the Opps. So it was only going to be, either Joe, Hobbs, or
was it not Hobbs? Possibly.
I don't know.
I'll get to it. I'm reading it now. I'm actually.
Yeah, it was either Joe, Hobbs, or Shibata, and I don't think that they're going to do anything with. I don't know. Whatever. It matter. It really doesn't matter, but it's got to be one of those guys or Hangman, whatever. It's one. No, it wasn't. It's Opps or Hangman. That's it. All right. So anyway, yeah, we've already wasted enough time. So Max Caster's already out there. He's not going to waste any time. He's going to do his chance. He's going to do his 5-minute challenge. He's going to get challenged. It's Scorpio Sky. Remember him? We talked about him recently. say his name and he appears. I don't believe is Scorpio Sky. He comes out with Christopher Daniels and Top Flight and Layla Gray because they were all in a little video that played like right at the beginning, like something about Caster bringing people back for their comebacks and them getting to play a video right before the match. But it only takes him 55 seconds to beat Max Caster. So there you go.
Man, are we going to see Scorpio Sky moving forward though from now on?
Obviously.
Is that what's happening?
I mean, think about it. When Anthony Bowens came back, we got to see him like every show.
Sure, I guess. Well, he looked jacked, man. He actually looked pretty friggin' big. Do you think he'd be a good fit, say, in the future for the Hurt Business?
No, because he's a
Not
cheese
too
sandwich,
corny?
and it
Right,
doesn't
I
matter
know
how
what
many
you're saying.
pieces of cheese you put on the sandwich, he's still just a cheese sandwich.
Hey, man, he
Triple
looks
cheese,
tougher.
quadruple cheese, 4
Yeah, I know
craft
what you're
singles
saying.
on 2 pieces of white bread. It's not going to work.
Fair enough, but I think he'd be better than, say, Cedric Alexander if he ever came back into AEW.
Well, Cedric Alexander is in a TNA now, so
right, I knew that.
he'll be stuck there forever. Lexi is with Ricochet, and Ricochet says that actions speak louder than words, and he goes around the corner, and we find that, much like Lance Archer used to do, the Gates of Agony have beaten up Blake Christian, and I guess it's Lee Johnson, right?
Yep, and by the way, I just want to go back to that Claudio Castagnoli thing.
Damn it.
All it says here is sick of the Opps sticking their nose in Death Rider business, and they have a score to settle at All In for a trio's titles.
Oh, okay. That makes
We're
sense.
both way off. So it's all of the Opps, and I'm assuming the Dick Riders other than
Hey,
Moxley.
I wasn't way off. I said that it had to be
No,
the,
you were
the,
right,
the
you were right.
Ops.
I just had
At
to
least,
quickly
I thought
put
it was
that
just
in.
one of the Ops.
Yeah, me too. So did I, but I guess not.
All right. Willow versus Viperous.
Yeah, interesting. I actually didn't mind this Viperous, whoever she is, dude. Even though it was a squash match, but it was a well done squash match. For some reason, you know, this Viperous chick sort of stood out, but she made Willow look great. Like Ben was saying, Funny D was saying the same thing to me, how she's lost weight in all the right places because she really had, Willow is starting to look really good. I won't lie. And she looked great in this match.
I won't argue. So,
But one thing I do have a gripe on, sorry, quickly. I didn't like how Viperous, you know, when she put her, well, you want to fight? So she puts her hair up in a bun. It's like, really? Why are you waiting for her to do that? Just attack her and pounce. She should have pounced her right then and there, in my opinion. And then 1,
Right.
2, 3. That's it.
would
But
have been better.
unfortunately, she didn't.
Yeah, why are you going to wait till the match starts to put your hair up?
Right, exactly. So dumb, dude. So we wait till halfway through, but cool, whatever. It is what it is.
And what it is over. So, yes, she does get doctor bombed after she gets pounced. So it's great. Back on Wednesday, Renee spoke to Five Tool sitting on the floor after he got his ass kicked. And Billy came by and picked him up. And they're going to go back to the drawing board and scissor some more.
Okay. I don't want to ask what that entitles.
Okay, at this point in the show, this is where we had the big FTR Outrunners match. We've already spent enough time on that because we got to get right to the All-Star 8-woman tag match.
Yeah.
We know how
After
Jimmy
what I
loves
saw-
All-Star
No,
8-women tag matches.
dude, forget it. I didn't see after watching that match previously, and then power of the phone started kicking in. I'm sorry, man, but that's the truth.
Well, I actually looked at this a couple more times than the other match, but
Yeah.
so first of
God.
all, it was Tekla, Athena, Megan, and Dark Julia.
Oh, I think-
Versus- Okay, go ahead. Versus Queen Aminata, TJ, and Thunder Rosa. Now, this is what I noticed about this match. They beat the fuck out of Megan Bayne in this match. Like,
Really?
Thunder Rosa drop kicked her in the chest so hard. Like, she took a shoot bump into the ropes. Then,
Interesting.
like, yeah, they were laying it in on Megan. So, and again, going back to what Ben was talking about is the psychology of the three-way match, getting the heat in the tag team match. Who ends up going over? Megan Bayne. So Megan Bayne
course.
took the beating, but Penelope jumped up on the apron just long enough to distract Anna Jay, and then Megan caught Anna Jay and gave her the running Liger bomb, a different finisher for her this time.
That is different. Do you think what's better than what she was doing before that?
There's never. I know you said there'll never be another Jusha Thunder Liger, but they may be another Liger bomb giver.
And well, it's a female this time, so that can
just
pass.
don't break anybody's neck with it,
please. We beg you, do not do that. Do you think you think a lot of the women don't like Bane at all? It seems like, especially Thunder Rosa.
Maybe. I mean, maybe they have an agreement to lay it in. They're all fighting for real over Joey Janela, Cold Blood. Says.
You should have seen the photos actually he was posting, and he got this cheeky smack like, look who I've got, you pricks,
Gross.
I mean, good on him.
Yeah, it is good on him.
Well, I mean,
it looks bad.
Hate of it.
It looks bad on her.
Bad, he gets
looks
them
bad
all,
on
bro.
her. Good on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, maybe. But to answer your question, maybe. Actually, maybe Rosa and Megan get along because sometimes you're in there and you just stiff your friends.
Right? That's true. I agree with that.
But it was rough. They was definitely beating her up. So it was, whatever. Just noticed it. Oh, then we get a vignette for Alex Windsor.
Who the fuck is Alex Windsor, bro?
I completely forgot about this human.
Who is he? I don't even know who he is. I don't even remember.
It's a lady.
I don't remember. Oh, she? God.
Now we know Jimmy didn't see it.
Well, I didn't. That match, I told you, I didn't. Once I watched what I watched, that match just took me completely out of it. But who is? And I did go for a quick break, if you know what I mean. But who is she?
She was in AEW like years ago, and then she fell off the face of the earth, and they're trying to do this video vignette like we ever knew who she was. They're showing like match clips and stuff, but like I certainly don't remember. So she must have got injured like before she ever really got started or something.
Is she older, younger? What does she kind of look like?
Some white woman from England.
From England too. Great. Okay. The new Jamie Hayter, the artist says. Oh boy.
I guess. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember her once they said her name, but like the whole time I was like, who is this person and why are they trying to make me act like I know who this person is? And then when she said Alex Windsor at the end, I was like, oh yeah, you probably were on AEW Dark Elevation a few times.
For sure. Probably
before they canceled it.
Was she ever on a Dynamite or a Collision or even a Rampage?
Maybe, but she would have been in the Viper spot if she was, maybe. I don't know.
More than likely.
The problem is we don't have Zane Vicious here because it's not on our normal day. He'd be telling us all these things about how he wouldn't tell us who she is, but he would tell us how stupid we are for not knowing who she is. So that's where we really miss a Zane Vicious at a time like this, but he's confused because a whole day later, he can't even comprehend that. So we'll just have to give him a pass and struggle on our own.
24 hours ahead of time because he always, before our shows, he'll text me saying, wake up, whatever. And I'm like, tomorrow, we're on at this time. Look out for that. But I guess he didn't wake up. Wake up, Zane.
The artist says she looks like a Wish version of Kiana James. No, she wishes she looked like a Wish version of Kiana James.
Good one.
So, all right, here comes the best part of the show. Looks like there's been enough talk. It's time for the main event. And guess who's in the main event? Daniel Garcia. And you know what that means, guys. Daniel Garcia rule. I disavow this match. I don't have to watch it. Jimmy, what happened?
Do you think I want to watch this match? But nevertheless, my boy, it's really my boy, not really, in Kyle Fletcher actually defeats Daniel Garcia via a brain buster. And you know what? He should have won. I was expecting Fletcher to actually win because honestly, dude, when you put it back to the start of this show, this very show, when all three of them were there, and I don't like this Shawn Michaels kind of esque, and I'm talking about Shawn Michaels 1992 esque sort of thing that he's trying to go for. I mean, or maybe even a few other wrestlers when you think about it, but he's trying to do something along those lines. But when you look at all three of them, he looks the biggest by a mile, let's be honest. And he looks like an actual wrestler compared to the other two. So I'm actually thinking that hopefully he does go over Adam Cole come All In this week. Do you think we will see that, or they'll just probably give it to Adam Cole because everyone can go baby and be happy?
I don't know, because Kyle Fletcher's already been the TNT champion, right?
No, I don't think so. Has he?
Quite sure.
No. It was the other one. I think it was either the Continental or International bout. I'm pretty sure.
Well, he couldn't have been the Continental.
Let me check that. I could have sworn he hasn't, but I'll double confirm about
Double
that
confirm
now.
that, but if he has, for some reason, if he has been it, then it's not going to be that special for him to win it again. So I could see it just being a 50-50 thing.
He wouldn't have been champion for long if he was, right? And there's no way.
I don't think so, no. Not a long reign.
What's happened to his partner at this point? I mean, is he gone?
Oh, good
now?
old Mark Davis? Well, he joined the
Yeah.
Don Callis family too. He just doesn't show up ever.
Just
I
doesn't
think he got
show
hurt
up.
again.
Weird. It doesn't say like he's got any belt from AEW. He was a Ring of Honor television champion, dude. That's what it was. And tag team champ. He's never won any AEW championships. But I thought he did too, but he hasn't. But then I do remember him being the TV champ.
Well, in
of
that
Ring of
case,
Honor.
that's a much stronger case for him to get it at All In then.
I think he should. He should. Kevin Marty, he's in the house saying has. Yeah, well, he has now. Tutto a posto. Everything good in Italian. That's what I said. Yeah, so I actually wouldn't mind seeing Fletcher win. I know I shit on Australian wrestlers, Vet, but I like his look. I hate his voice. And I don't like his whole look. When I say his look, I like he's put on a lot more muscle mass. But this weird chandelier thing is going on his glasses. Please don't do that shit. It's weird.
You know, like the pink?
The pink, only Bret Hart can friggin' rock the pink. I'm sorry.
But if it's heat.
Seriously. Is it heat though?
You don't like it, right?
I know what you're saying because it's heat, right? I know what you're trying to get at. I'm not that stupid.
I don't know.
But
could be getting worked here, Jimmy. The pink is making
it's
you
not because
angry.
of the pink. It's the chandeliers that friggin' actually gets me a bit annoyed, to be fair.
Well, that's heat too.
Okay. All right. But is it real heat?
Isn't it? Is that
I don't
stuff
know.
supposed
To
to
me-
bother you? Like, to me, if it's somebody like, okay, you take a Jimmy, right? He's a wrestling fan, but
Take it,
you know,
Jimmy.
he's been working here at HMG and PWC, and he's been putting in the work for all these years and all these hours on all these shows and everything. So obviously he's not just your average street fan anymore, right? So if
thank
Jimmy
you.
can sit here and complain
embarrassed.
about this guy's fucking glasses and gear, like, it's got to be working, because you don't ever see me talking about like, oh,
That's
look how
true.
stupid he looks. I even said with the Young
That's
Bucks
true.
earlier, who everybody knows I hate the Young Bucks, but like I
It's
was
not
saying, when
because
they
of-
look stupid in their little homecoming vignettes, but it's like, but yeah, that's what you was supposed to do. You're supposed to look
Right.
that, like, you know what I mean? So for heels like them, it works. So I'm not going to shit on that, because that is what they should be doing, whether I like them or not. And it's the same thing with this. Like, obviously you're not really bothered by
I am
Kyle
not really
Fletcher's
bothered.
gear.
Right.
But if he starts doing something cool, then why is he a heel? If heels do cool things, why do we hate them? You see what I mean?
See, now you've put me in a pickle now. Let me rephrase that, all right? Yeah, I know
Okay.
he's a heel. Self-consciously, I know he's a heel, but I'm not looking at it from that perspective. Like, I'm looking at, not from that type of fandom perspective. I'm looking at it from, like, if I like him or I don't like him, regardless heel or babyface, if that makes any sense. Like, sure.
Well,
as a
what
normal
I'm saying
fan-
is you're having trouble telling the difference now. You're lost
Well,
in
when
this.
you-
You're
when
lost
you
and
say it
confused
like
about
that,
it.
It's not that I'm lost and confused. You kind of wrecked me. In other words, yeah.
Aha!
I've been-
Lost and confused.
Do you see what I mean? So it's like, okay, what can I say to that? You
This
just
is the
fucked me up.
wreckage.
You fucked me up. So there's really nothing I can come back on. You actually got me. You got me good. That's why I'm like, fuck. You know what I mean? But really, I'm not looking at it from that. It doesn't matter what he's wearing per se. And it's not really annoying me, like, for real. It's just I don't like that look. Like for me personally, regardless of a heel or babyface, there's even
but that's what I'm saying. So you don't like it, but if you don't like it, now if you're a wrestling promoter, don't you think that's good for a heel if you don't like it?
I guess.
So you wouldn't want your babyface to dress up like that. Like if Scorpio Sky came back and we're supposed to cheer for Scorpio Sky and he came out dressed in pink with the chandelier glasses, then you'd be like, why is he wearing that? But if Kyle Fletcher does it, it's like, yeah, Kyle Fletcher should do that. That's the way I look at it.
No,
I can't help it.
You're right. That's why I can't come back from it. Like that's why I can't really say I can't rebut what you just said because you're right, and I know you're right. That's the thing. But
heels can do anything.
But I would put more work into actually being a heel in terms of promos and just actions. You know what I mean? Instead of just the look, because for me, it's also masking sometimes a bit of a weakness. Why can't you be more of a heel?
You're right about that. You can't get carried by the glasses.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Right.
Yeah. You can't just wear the outfit. You have to embody the whole thing. Yes, of course.
Right.
So yeah,
Thank
well,
you.
Kyle Fletcher
You
is
saved me.
annoying and he does dress stupid and he is kind of dangerous in the ring, so he does have shoot heat with me, but like whatever, the glasses he can wear. So I didn't watch this match. Kyle Fletcher did win.
Via
Pretty sure.
Brainbuster.
Yeah, Brainbuster,
Right.
and so he will go on. But that's it. And Kevin Murray facetiously wants to know if Gallus will join AEW. Yeah,
I thought
Sure
they
they
did
will.
sign, didn't they? Oh no, maybe I'm thinking of things, but they will.
All right.
They'll make an appearance, but I don't want them to. Please stay
let's
away.
get Jimmy to
Gallus.
bed, guys. He's
No, yeah, no fucking Gallus.
all right. Well, that's it. We made it through another one, anniversary edition, one day late, here on the Wreckage.
No, I'm just laughing because Wreckage number 100, even though we're probably at 101, 102, it feels more than that, but still. But in saying that, Vet, I guess it is time to take it home. We did have also been, I totally, for anyone that caught us late, go rewind that shit. Check what he had to say. I was in the learning, I was literally part of the learning tree here between both of y'all going back and forth. I actually enjoyed that.
You were a big business bounty hunter, Bad Apple Brian McKeith here today.
I was. I just kept my mouth shut and just listened because it was actually something to see between the both of y'all. But in saying that, Vet, tell them what you're doing and what you're up to, man, because you got a busy night tonight too.
Yes. Tonight is going to be the Impact Attack with Brandon. That's 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, barring any neighborhood fires. And so please be sure to join us in a few hours for that. And then, of course, you've got every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, you've got the Next Level Wrestling Review with myself and Ray Hernandez, Big Ray Hernandez. We talk about NXT. So we got the two halves of the NXT and TNA sandwich. Cover both of those. So please join us for those. And then you've got the wrestling affiliated shows, Wrestling with Rip Rogers, every Friday at the usual concrete time of 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, except for this week. I think there's a vacation this week. They'll be off this week as far as I know. But then they'll be back strong after that. Stevie Richards is probably going to have a new episode every Friday. They just had an anniversary show of themselves. So, please go celebrate by listening to the newest episode of the Stevie Richards Show, where they continue to talk about Stevie Night Heat in part 2. Check out Limpin' Ain't Easy with Timmy Baltimore. Apparently there was no episode this week that I could see, but I'm sure he'll be back at it again soon. The last episode he had Mike Mondo on, so my old trainer Mike Mondo, very first person that showed me how to do all these wrestling moves was Mike Mondo. So
Really?
go give him a look over at NWA on X and everywhere that NWA is playing on YouTube, everything. And as for me, you can find me at Opinion Haver everywhere. Jimmy, what about you?
Well, as far as I go, you can find me tomorrow morning for I Like It Raw with myself and Big Ray Hernandez, of course, where we talk things Monday Night Raw every Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. Of course, go and check out the latest edition of the Smack Attack with myself and, of course, R to the B to the V, where we talk all things SmackDown and, of course, everything else in the news of pro wrestling. And, of course, this very show, The Wreckage, with myself and the best in the world, the vet Jamie Williams. And in saying that, I'm sure we'll be back at our normal hour and normal time of 11 a.m. Eastern next Sunday morning for that Wreckage. So also, but like and subscribe right here at Humming Media Group's YouTube channel. I mean, please, our views have gone way up, so I appreciate everybody that's been tuning in. Our subscription numbers have gone up. Again, thank you to everyone that's actually been doing that. But please continue the good fight and spread us all around and tell everybody that's into pro wrestling to come and listen to us, because they will not be disappointed. And of course, if you want to follow me, you can at the PWC Network and at DJ Mass Effects. And in saying that,
yeah, don't
it's a
forget
wrap.
Monday Locker Room coming right up.
Oh, yes, shit, exactly.
Don't
And
get
coming right up in 4 minutes, more than likely. It is your Monday Locker Room with RBV and, of course, our very own Bin Hamin. Check that out. So stay right here on Humming Media Group's YouTube channel, where you'll see the Monday Locker Room. I'm sure Bin's got a lot more to say after what he said before. So in saying that, I am Jimmy T. He is my co-host, Jamie the Vet Williams, the best in the world, that is. And you've been listening and watching the
Wreckage
live right here on Humming Media Group's YouTube channel and channelattitude.com after the fact. And we're out. Peace.